All
Yes.
right. Everybody's joining us and we're recording. So there we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. As we're getting everybody settled into the Zoom webinar here, I'm getting used to it being here instead of on Facebook. So that's a good thing. So that's a good thing for us. Let's say start the chat up. Oh, I forgot to give everybody a chance to, everyone can chat on the chat. Everyone, always forget to do these little things here. Okay, Gabe just left us, but hopefully he'll come back. Um, okay, there we go. Um, okay, I saw somebody that the book reporter. God, I can't think of Carol. Carol is her name. She's somebody that she works with the publisher. She runs a newsletter. I met her at a book expo years and years and years ago. So I follow her on Facebook and she does this great thing. Twice a year she does this thing where publicists actually come on and give recommendations for what the next season's books are. Like she looks like way ahead. So it's fun. It's fun to go on, and I think she opens it up to everybody. I think the public can go on it as well. And again, it's called the Book Reporter. But I follow her on Facebook, and so she said today she goes, or yesterday she said, does it feel like the Sunday before Thanksgiving instead of it being next week? Because it's just like this late Thanksgiving that's next week has got me just completely just spun around because it's so late this year. But
Yes.
I guess that's how it happens. So at least we get an extra week. Oh, Gabe, you're on mute. Um, so yeah, so it's just seems like I Christmas is gonna be here like that. So I think we're hopefully gonna give you some good recommendations. Okay, good. So D, your guys are getting the Zoom emails. Good. So that's good that you're getting those and get the reminders for this. So that makes us happy. All right. So it's gonna go Andrea, Patricia, and Gabe. So I think we're ready to go. I think we got everybody here. It's gonna be here. We are recording it, so it'll be on YouTube later in case you miss anything or you have to leave. So there you go. So Andrea, take it away.
Thank you. Good to see everyone. And welcome to um, Tea Time.
Yeah.
Wanted to talk about Brightly Shining this week by Ingvild Rishoy. This is a beautiful, number one, it's a beautiful package. Okay. It's a small little hardcover, $20. Out tomorrow, but there already is stock in it, Warwick's. And this is a beautifully told tale of it's a Norwegian Christmas story. But as you might expect from our Nordic brethren, there is a thread of darkness that runs throughout. A bit of a sad story in many ways, where two motherless children, siblings, two sisters are they want a good Christmas. Their father, who is struggling, and as the story moves on, you find out that he has a drinking issue, um, just can't pull it together. So, but the beautiful thing about this book, there's many beautiful moments of beauty, and that comes in the form of community, and a lot of people in the community understanding that these girls have a tough home life and try to make up for that. And again, look at that package. Don't you want to give that as a gift? It is gorgeous. Douglas Stewart, who is the Booker Prize winning author of Shuggie Bain and Young Mungo, which is a crowd favorite at the Indies. I know that Julie was really into Shuggie Bain. He says, there is a real magic in this charming novel about care, community, and the kindness of strangers. It is a deeply affecting story, beautifully told, that is sure to touch the hearts of many readers. Now, there is a bit of an interesting twist or reveal at the end of this book that I'm not going to talk about because I want to hear somebody discuss it via our chat at some point. But just beautifully written. The translation is great. Carolyn Waite translates this from the Norwegian. And again, a beautiful package, $20 hardcover, and that's from Grove Press. Brightly Shining.
Okay, I read it. I loved it. I love the dark. It wasn't that dark for me. So
Yeah,
that tells you anything.
yeah. I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not,
It's not horrible.
yeah.
No. I loved it. I thought it was right there with Claire Keegan and that kind of in that vein of
Yeah.
a short book that just really packs a punch.
Yes. I
Um,
wish I had a copy. Oh, it's right over there. I'll show it later. But
okay. Yeah.
it's in that same small format, like
Yep.
really nifty, like it just feels good in your hands, and with a great cover. So
Yeah. So I loved it. So anyways, and I see that Darcy, you're quite the trendsetter and you are that was on your list. So that's good. Interesting that it bubbled up to something that you had noticed. So that's very cool. Okay, I'm gonna do this because I'll get messed up if I don't. Okay, Patricia, you're next.
Well, I have a book that's just shipping now that I really think is gorgeous. It's called The Study, The Inner Life of Renaissance Libraries. It's a beautiful, scholarly kind of book, but in the best possible way, looking at the advent of print in the 15th century, Europe's cultural elite, and their personal libraries, which of course were personal refuges from persecutions, pandemics, and anything that might require a little self-nurturing. So he's looking at the Renaissance studiolo, the little study, and how these spaces were dedicated to self-cultivation. Uh, this, of course, is a famous image of the studiolo, if you can see that. And we kind of replicate that in so many ways. He traces the humanists from Petrarch to Machiavelli to Montaigne, and of course we all wish we had Montaigne's tower and his personal round tower office with the rafters up on top that are all inscribed with sayings from the classics in the Bible. He looks at imaginary libraries in Rabelais and Cervantes and Shakespeare and Marlowe, and how Renaissance painters depicted the Virgin Mary and Saint Jerome in particular as sort of saintly bibliophiles. I myself have let's see if I can get the right picture, a nice collection of Virgins with a Book Christmas cards that I've been building over the years. Now he looks at bibliographic fabulists. I love that idea. Borges and Umberto Eco. And there are perspectives from Chinese book cultures, Islamic. He gives us a word. How would it be pronounced? Zhiyyin. Zin. And he prefaces the thought of this word with Montaigne's feeling that a certain trembling might come over you, an unnervingly epiphanic response to words. Yes, we're all looking for that mystery book at any moment. And the word in let's see if I can find it. And a word of that kind for that tremor is the word from the Chinese word.
Hmm.
So it's full of learning and grace. Of course, it's madly erudite. It has a sense of the magical and the mysterious place that is really your own library, and the voyage that we're on. And it's a very pleasing book. So here it is.
Package is great. It's a great package, and the illustrations inside are amazing. Well, you showed that tower though. It reminded me, we did a virtual event with Peter James. He's a international bestseller. He writes like like crime fiction, I think. He actually lives in England somewhere. He won't exactly say where. In it, so his office is in a tower. So his house
Yeah.
has got one of those like giant towers. It's amazing. I love it.
Right. People with towers. Well, of course, Joyce and was it the California poet Jeffers? Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Had the tower.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. So I love those towers are amazing. I want a tower someday.
Yeah, really.
Let's aspire to having a tower someday.
You know, I'm thinking about buying a village in Italy for like £1 or something like that. They
Well,
have all
let's
these
go.
things all the time. So
Let's
look for something
go.
with a turret.
Good. I'll come be one of your village mates. I don't know if you'll let me in. Will you let me in the walls?
Yeah, man. Gotta pay the rent. Gotta
I
pay the
love it.
rent.
I love it. All right, Gabe, speaking of you, what do you got for us?
Now you got me thinking about Italian tax structures and stuff.
I love it.
Got enough to think about. So I am going to start with a real basic book that I don't think is getting a lot of attention for some reason, but it should in Southern California. It's Brothers by Alex Van Halen, and we've got a stack in the store. We might have a couple of stacks in the store. And it's just a love letter to his brother, who he is still mourning. They were very close as little kids. They had the immigrant experience. They were born in Amsterdam, so they've always been their support group. It was always them two against the world. They formed a very successful band. They were part of the Southern California scene when I was growing up. They actually played in my high school
No way.
when I was a sophomore, junior.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was between them and a band called Ace, and neither Ace played the classic high school dance stuff, but they were the top of the heap in the San Gabriel Valley, and neither one would open for the other. Neither were openers. So, and I don't know why we used to get two bands when I was in high school. It was fun times.
No
Anyways,
kidding.
they, when I think when Kobe passed, LA took it really hard. Southern California took it really hard. And I think the same thing when Eddie passed away. There was a really big sense of loss in the community because I think they were so local. You'd see him in the shops. So I think if you have that family member, that father, that uncle, that brother, that music's still getting played. Young kids are still listening to Van Halen. It's rock and roll. It's legit. It's Southern California. I think it's a really easy coming up on the holidays. I think it's a real easy give for somebody. So good looking package. It's written with the New York Times award-winning writers. So it's a good read, and I think again very Southern California.
Yep. We hosted Valerie Bertinelli, who was just darling, by the way, Eddie Van Halen's wife, ex-wife. And so I saw a little interview with her talking about this book. She actually hasn't read it yet because she knows it's just going to be so emotional and just so,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's just going to be like you said, a great book for anybody that loves the band at all, I
He's a
think.
gift. Yeah, he's a gift. The rocker, the band, and
Yeah, anything. Yeah,
biographies.
love it. All right, Andrea, what do you got next for us?
A gift book for the World War II historian.
Hmm.
And just 20th century history buff in general. This is Casino 44, the brutal battle for Rome, and this is by James Holland, who has written many other amazing accounts of. It's usually single battles or campaigns that he writes about, but his knowledge is really unparalleled of World War II. He wrote Normandy 44 that did very well, and then the Savage Storm, which is part of the Italian campaign, the Savage Storm, that he writes about so fulsomely, and then also just like his knowledge is amazing, but he's also one of the great narrative historians of our time, and I do not say that lightly. He, in many ways, is the preeminent World War II historian of our time, following in the line of people like Max Hastings and Stephen Ambrose. And this is about 4 really just rough battles around the Cassino commune in Italy, as the Allied forces are trying to liberate Rome, which ended up happening about 2 days before D-Day. And it's really the beginning of everything changing and the war pivoting towards Allied victory. And the thing that I really like about his work is, especially here, is it's told largely through letters and diary entries of the people who were there fighting in this war. And that's what makes this a little bit different in many ways. So you really get a on the ground, in the trenches, on the plane, before you parachute in, that sort of thing. You really get that kind of feel to the writing. And I basically defy anybody who's interested in World War II history to, poo-poo James Holland and his amazing writing. He also has quite a popular podcast that I just dipped into. I just found this out. I didn't know this before, but we just had sales conference for his next book coming on the spring list. And the great George Gibson, who has worked in the industry like basically longer than I've been alive. I mean, the guy has been
Exactly.
an amazing and very well thought of editor, and he edits James Holland, who has become a Grove House author. And he told us about this podcast, and absolutely fantastic. I just listened to a two episode series on the one of the assassination attempts against Hitler, where the bomb went off in the lair, but the table blocked it from really killing him. But absolutely fascinating stuff. So a lot here from James Holland, and definitely a winner for that certain person in your life who's into World War II history.
Yeah, which there's a lot of people. Well, that's a very much a good gift for that person. What's the name of the podcast, Andrea?
It's called We Have Ways of Making You Talk.
Okay.
And it's in he has a partner in crime. They're both Brits, and his partner is a well-known comedian, can't think of his name right now, but who's a World War II enthusiast, and they have a lot of experts in certain fields on the show too. So it's great if you just, you don't want to read a book, but you're interested in a certain battle or whatnot.
Yeah. Love it. I love the complimentary, podcast book things are fun to have that. All right, Patricia, what do you got next for us?
All right. I'm thinking, wouldn't that have been the loss of one of the great libraries at Monte Cassino also? As that was destroyed in that battle, one of the really, really, really great libraries. So a book maybe for the moment, the world of the very, very rich and their influence on politics, and that has been true throughout time. This book is from last season, but it continues to get a great deal of attention, as Gods Among Men was a medieval phrase for the super rich. And this covers 1,000 years with many incursions into antiquity, looking at the Middle Ages, when an excessive accumulation of wealth might have been considered sinful unless you lived discreetly. And it is most interested in the way that the rich were deemed useful in using their wealth to help communities in times of crisis. I think the underlying theme, and that which has been most brought out in reviews, is that this contribution to the common good in times of war, famine, plague, financial disaster has been true across the last 1,000 years. But today, that sense of shared responsibility is less. We have a magnificent endorsement from Thomas Piketty, a masterly book offering an insightful, long perspective and fascinating lessons for the future, a must-read from Thomas Piketty. And in fact, one of the chapters on why wealth communication can be a social problem arches from Thomas Aquinas to Thomas Piketty. It's got a lot of attention, the New Yorker, Financial Times, TLS, That's that kind of book, of enduring interest in the lives of the super rich, not so much from their celebrity outrageous level, but their profound influence and what their responsibilities are. It continues to be getting attention, and it'll be coming out in paperback in the next 4 or 5 months. So just thought I'd bring it out as a book of the moment.
Yeah, that sounds very much the book of the moment. Sounds it's history obviously, but accessible, like narrative nonfiction sort of reading.
I would definitely put it on the heavy side,
Okay.
but it
Okay.
is narrative and richly done with
Okay.
tons of information. It isn't like all graphs, but delves deep into the
Okay.
subject of the rich.
Okay. Wait, well, that would be very interesting. Okay. All right, Gabe. Don't forget to unmute.
I do it on purpose now. So my next book, I think maybe Tom probably talked about this, but I disconnected for a few months, so I don't know if he did or didn't. So the book I want to share is the Henry V by
I
Dan
don't,
Jones.
I don't know.
I,
I don't remember.
well, hopefully this will be more memorable than
Yeah.
Tom's
Oh,
if he in fact
sh
did do
Ooh, ooh,
it.
ouch.
He may not
Ouch.
have, but
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to come on. I give him every opportunity to defend himself.
There you go.
He isn't here. So the reason, Dan Jones, he's just one of those favorite authors of mine. He writes these very no nonsense, fun reads. It's good narrative nonfiction. It's good solid history. He's a good biographer. He does his research. So in this outing, he's taking on an individual, Henry V. He's done the Plantagenets. He's worked his way through big War of the Roses and things, 100-Year War. So he's focusing here on Henry V, who, Shakespeare has doing that great St. Crispin's Day speech, which was just a couple of weeks ago, St. Crispin's Day. And a character who we don't really know much about other than what we know from Shakespeare. So he's one of these characters that you read about and you sort of move on, as a lot of these British kings. But Dan Jones really, brings out exactly what he did, and a very successful king in bringing Britain, starting to move Britain into a more modern era, and a very strong leader, and just, I mean, I had no idea how little I knew about Henry V until I read this book, and how interesting a character he was. So, all these people have these great histories. It's just sussing out the information. And I think that's where Dan Jones really shines, because he's kind of like the everyman.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he's one of these highfalutin scholars. He's very accessible, and he keeps the pace up. He keeps it not quite melodramatic, but he also hosts a couple of those TV history shows, and he's always
Okay.
lively. That's kind of his scene, keeping it
Okay.
live, keeping it moving. So a lot of fun to read.
Yeah, because that for the average person makes it more accessible to them. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just facts and dates
right.
and
Henry V. I think maybe Tom did talk about this, because I have this recall of talking about how Richard III was my favorite of the Shakespeare. So I have a feeling we did talk about it, but I don't know. I'll have to have Tom defend himself next time we're on.
don't say
Shh, shh. All right. All right. Let's go lightning round. Andrea, what you got? Don't forget to unmute.
it. I already have this.
All right, sorry about that. I have to talk about Claire Keegan in the run-up to the holiday, of course. And this is just out now. It is a reissue of her first story collection, Antarctica, that was published by Grove in 1999. So going on 26 years ago. It first came out on one of the first lists that I ever sold back in the day
Wow.
when I was a fledgling rep. And I've loved it ever since. This has been reworked. The title story, Antarctica, has been reworked.
What?
And the package now reflects the whole series of her other great books that have come since, including Small Things Like These, which is a bit of a Christmas story. And so that's something that's in stock and something that if you haven't bought it, please do pick that up for the holidays or um, uh, buy more to send on to other people. They're great little stocking stuffers. So it's really nice that they have this now a whole series feel to them, right? In these small volumes. And this story collection really was something else. People stood up and took a look at Claire Keegan when this first came out. She won the first ever William Trevor Award, which he himself awards. And I just, I knew she was something special after reading these first stories in manuscript. And we've all been enamored of her work since then. George Saunders says, Claire Keegan is one of the greatest fiction writers in the world. And I don't think that is hyperbole. She's just great. So in the store now, give a call, have them set one aside for you, or just go in to browse and check out all the beautiful displays that are there now for the holidays.
Awesome. Everybody in the chat is very excited because even though it's not a new title, it's new to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
that is an
Um,
exciting part.
And
Yeah.
those of us who have the original now, because the title story has been reworked, we have to get the new copy.
Of course.
Sneaky.
Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky.
Sneaky, sneaky. And I always
Now,
like to
here's the
mention
thing.
she won the LA Times Book Prize for Antarctica
That's right. She
many,
did.
many
Wow.
years ago.
She did. And that's what she does, though. She'll take an old story and rework it. She does that a lot, actually.
Okay, Gabe, my question to you is, are you going to read both?
I have to read both.
The old and the new.
I have to read both. It's like, they hold you prisoner, these publishers, with their sneaky.
Okay, Amanda's on here saying, I see another title from Claire Keegan. She's also not heard of, called Walk the Blue Fields.
Yeah, that's
Another
another.
collection.
Yeah, that's an older title that I'm sure will be reissued soon enough. That's a 2008.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have old and new to look forward to from her, because I'm assuming that there's going to be something new coming around the bend from her as well.
Yes, no doubt. She's she's
Yeah.
a human. She definitely does a lot of work.
Yep. All right, Patricia, what do you have for us?
I have a super stunning art book. It is huge. Here it is. Fragmentary Forms. The cover is incredibly embossed and feels wonderful. It's a big history of collage, a book I really don't think has a complement. I don't know of another book on collage that has this kind of expansive reach. It goes back to ancient papers, ancient China and Japan, and brings to mind that those assemblages of papers in that ancient time were collages. Or you might think of here she looks at religious relics, which are packed with silken flowers and all sorts of, who knows, bits of relic. These are Persian manuscript papers, which are layered, the painting on top of other papers. But it comes up to the contemporary, it comes through Victorian albums, different kinds of scrapbooks, to things that you would more anticipate, such as the Cubists who loved wallpaper, the Pablo Picasso and Georges Braque. And you could think of quilts by Faith Ringgold and works by Romar Bearden and ways looking at African American identity. Joseph Cornell's boxes, Dada ready-mades, crazy quilts, photo montage. Here are some photo montages as one would expect, and maybe some bits by Max Ernst. The book is very handsome and full of surprises. There's that little bit of, do it yourself that is part of collage. She opens with a kind of alluring quote. Collage is a demonstration of the many becoming the one, with the one never fully resolved because of the many that continue to impinge upon it. This seems like a difficult way of saying that all those extra little pieces remain with their own integrity within the whole. And the whole assemblage is just sort of fascinating. And it's a way of thinking, and a way of thinking that I think, particularly in modernism, that we've sort of taken to ourselves. It's encyclopedic. It's really beautiful. I don't know of anything quite like it. And that's the book, Fragmentary Forms.
Love it. And as Andrea said, another winning title, art book from you, Patricia.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that looks great. And that quote sounds like straight out of a philosophy class,
Yeah.
Right?
Donald Burton Cuspit, The New Subjectivism, was the source.
There you go.
Love it. It just looks like we've got some really good gift books coming out. And that's another one. So y'all have got given everybody some very good ideas because Christmas will be here, like we said earlier, before we know it. Darcy's on here. She just finished the Woodrow Wilson book by Christopher Cox. Yes, the event's tonight. He'll be at the store. 14 years of research that he did on Woodrow Wilson. So anyways, yeah, I'm glad he'll be at Warwick's too. So if you're in town and you're not doing anything in a few hours, stop in and see him. He's got a PowerPoint that he's going to be showing too. So probably some excellent photos that he'll be showing on that. Okay, Gabe, want to wrap it up for us?
I'm gonna wrap it up in a big way, but I gotta start reading up on subjectivism. I think I suffer from that.
Oh,
I mean, not in a good way.
in a good way. Gotta write that down. Write that word down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember hearing it in the 80s, and I haven't heard it in a while. But Patricia always brings it back. So I'm going to talk about next is and I don't want to talk about Harper Books because I used to work for them, but you got to know about the Share book. You got to know about the Share book. So an understated jacket. I mean, all I got to do is pop it up, right? She needs no introduction. You know who
Right.
she is. She's won Emmys. She's won Grammys. She's been a big deal at Cannes. She's won Oscars, been nominated for more Oscars than she's won. Recently inducted into the Hall of Fame. She doesn't really seem to care about stuff like this. She's an iconoclast. A couple years ago, we had the Barbara Streisand book, which I thought was going to be bigger than it was actually. But I think Share is gonna be a big deal. So get on it early because the publisher will probably run out of stock. It's like I said, I think a pretty understated package, but look at what a face. She was really quite a beauty back in the day. And
Absolutely.
what is she, like 80 now? We all remember the Sonny and Cher show. My father, who we immigrated in 1963, December 11th, 63 was our immigration date. And one of the first albums my dad bought was the Sonny and Cher album. My dad had no time for the hippie thing. He was very conservative Guatemalan. He was more Pat Boone and the Platters. But one of the longest, and it's still in our collection. It's still in his. He passed away last year, but we still have that Sonny and Cher album, and it still plays. It's not scratched. It still plays the vinyl. So part of the culture from way back. I mean, I've been here 61 years, not exactly all those years, but a good chunk of that. The TV show was beloved. I mean, they were beloved. They just grew their audience, and she's just been a remarkable performer and individual, and somebody quite special in our culture. So kudos to Cher. This book has been on, it's been in the house. It was in the house for like a dozen years, 10 years or something, still working to finish it. So they're doing part one. So part one's out of the way. We'll see if we ever get a part two. But I think it was a smart move to get something going and get the wheels greased. But I think people want to know. I think it comes out tomorrow
Okay.
because I just got my copy the other day.
Awesome. How many pages is part one?
It's not big at all. It's very doable. It's only it's just under 400.
Oh, okay.
and but also has these great 3 photo inserts, and there's even a color insert.
I just took you off share.
That's
That's why I
all right.
wanted you. No, I wanted you to
No,
show.
no,
I
no.
want. I want you to show the pictures. You can't see them when you're this little teeny square.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. See? Okay, there you go.
So there's a bunch. I mean, these are these are the color years, and there's a couple of
Oh.
black and white inserts as well. I mean, look at that shot.
So there's lots of photos in it.
There's
That's
a lot
cool.
of photos. Yeah, I think you get some good. I don't even know what the price is. $36, but I think
Well,
you
that's
get
not
some
bad.
bang. You get some bang for your buck with the pictures, and it's a great soft matte package. It's embossed, shiny up on top. There's the back. Very
I love
simple.
it.
Very simple. I think understated, but I think very classy and
Does it go through? So Andrea told us she's 78, so she's not quite 80. So close.
my bad.
Yeah, but that's okay. Does it go through certain or do we stop at a certain decade, or does she just kind of go all over the place?
You know
in
what?
part one?
There was nothing to read, and this just came, so
Okay.
I have not really seen where it goes or how it goes.
Okay. Well, that's for
Um,
everybody to find out then.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
want to
I
give too
love
much away.
I know. I love it. Okay, Darcy, I'm not going to be worrying about the PowerPoint tonight with Chris Cox because I will not be at the store. And actually, I have kind of a caveat for authors that want to do PowerPoint. It's kind of up to them. That's why we've kind of stopped doing the. It's like you got to bring everything because it's just if there's something that can go wrong with a presentation, it typically does. So that's why I avoid them as much as possible. So she was on CBS Sunday Morning. Okay. And she said this was the sunny years is what
The
this
early
book
years.
is. So, okay. All right. Well, let's look forward to share. If you want to see her, we got to go up to San Francisco. Book Passage, I think, is hosting her, which is very cool. So there you go. All right. Some great gifts. We still have a week and a half before Thanksgiving, and then the Christmas rush will hit us. So get your orders in soon if you want to get some of these books for gifts. We have, like Darcy said, we have Chris Cox tonight. We have Sebastian Younger in the store tomorrow night. So if you're here in San Diego, that's going to be another good one. And then we have Michael, I don't know if he says it pronounces it Idov or Edov, a new thriller called The Collaborators that everybody's really talking about and saying it's a great book. So he'll be in the store on Thursday. So we're still giving you some events along with some great recommendations. So with that, we're going to sign off and wish everybody a great week. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Actually, Amanda, I got to talk to you about next week because I don't think I'm going to be here next week. So it might be Amanda that you got next week. So my little grandkids are coming in. So I might not be here.
Oh, the
So-
grandbabies.
The little grands. All right, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.